Pop out of my pocket. And we're hot.
Hello, everyone. I'm Morgan Walker. I'm the Managing Director of Brand Marketing here at AFBF, and I'm joined by Zoe Kent. Zoe is an 8th-generation grain farmer from Ohio. After earning her agribusiness degree from The Ohio State University, she returned to the family farm to work alongside her father. Following his retirement, she took the reins and now manages all operations. Through her engaging social media presence with @FarmWithZoe, she shares informative, family-friendly farming videos. Zoe is here today to talk about her journey on social media, and if you stay until the end, we'll be doing a live TikTok. So we'll start with Zoe. Tell us a little bit about your journey on social media.
Yes, so I started on TikTok, and my algorithm was teachers and dogs. Because I have a friend who is a teacher, and he goes by Baker Educator on TikTok, and he was showing what he was doing in the classroom during COVID. And we were at a wedding together, and we were just talking, and I was asking about it, and he said, you know, I really think you should do this for farming, because like, you're a girl who drives big machinery, I think it's really cool. And I was, since my algorithm wasn't showing me farming content, I thought I had this like new and original idea. And it wasn't until I started posting that I realized that there are thousands of us posting online. So I got started there, and then I joined Instagram the year after, and then Facebook. Last year I started YouTube, which is just a whole other realm
Yes.
to do long form content. So I've been kind of gradually scaling up. I think that's my cue for the next question.
Yes, I think you're right. So I'd love to talk a little bit more about your process on social. So a lot of folks may tend to feel a little intimidated about posting on social, especially if they're new. So I'd really love for you to kind of walk through from an idea to filming, to posting, to managing comments. What does that look like for you?
Yes, so I know a lot of people will have a content calendar where they'll get organized, and they're like, you know, these are the things I'd like to discuss. I would say I have a couple different kinds of videos I make. So I make vlog style videos during planting and harvesting, because I just don't have the bandwidth to be scrolling the apps and seeing what the latest trends are. And then I do try to do some of those trends, because that really helps feed the algorithm and get your videos out there. And then the other category is just, you guys know farming. It's like you go and you think, I'm gonna do this today, and then everything falls apart, it breaks, and then the content kind of makes itself, and I just film the disaster that is our farm. So I always have a note going in my phone where I just think of ideas, because you know, I'm trucking grain all winter long. I have a lot of time to myself to just let my mind wander, and I come up with some ideas. So I'll come up with some ideas, and then usually whenever I'm working, I'll just place my phone somewhere and show some process of what we're doing on the farm. And the editing side, I do not spend much time editing that short form content. It is not aesthetically pleasing. It is not beautiful angles. There is not good lighting. I misspell everything. If you see a post where there isn't any grammar or spelling mistakes, it's because I sent that to my mom to have her double check it for me before I post it. So I don't spend much time there, but then when I film a YouTube video, I probably spend on average about like an hour editing down to like a 15-minute segment. So definitely it takes a lot more work on that side. And then for posting, typically what I do is I'll film on my phone, and then I'll upload it to TikTok. I might do a little bit of editing in there just because I like their program, and then I will post it on my other platforms. So it's generally the same video just posted across everywhere, just because I have slightly different audiences.
Right.
And it depends on the platform how much I monitor comments. On TikTok, it feels like it's a really engaged audience. It's a lot of other farmers. It feels kind of like a safe space, if you will, whereas Facebook is just full of everyone and anyone, and they have wild comments. I tend to not spend much time in that comment section. I pretty much just look and see if anyone has any real questions that they want answered. And deleting bots, scam accounts, Facebook is just kind of riddled with a lot of junk.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. So how long did it take you to really see some traction
Yeah, so I never had like a moment where I had one video that kind of like skyrocketed me. In TikTok, I started the platform, and it took about 6 to 8 months before I really started getting a little bit of traction. I got my first brand deal at 6 months, and that's where I was kind of like, oh, this could really be a business. And then when I jumped on Instagram, I didn't want to be on Instagram because that's where like my friends and my family were at, and I just didn't want them thinking that I was trying to be like a content creator, which I obviously am. But I was just embarrassed. But I started posting in harvest season of 2022, and I just filmed whatever we were doing that day on the farm, and that really popped off on Instagram. So I gained about 90,000 followers in a 45-day window.
Wow.
So that was kind of opposite of TikTok, where it was pretty slow growth, and then Facebook went even faster than the Instagram for whatever reason.
Sure.
But it's been fun. It's interesting.
So whenever you look back at kind of your journey, is there a particular moment that stands out to you where you posted something, people really, really resonated with it? Anything like that?
Yeah, so it's definitely not like my largest video, but I can remember the first time I got 65,000 views on a video. Since then, I've gotten a couple over 10 million, but I was more excited for that small one because it was like that small win in that beginning. And that video was a guy who had posted, hey, if you aren't spraying your own crops, what are you doing all summer? And I stitched that video and I said, well, we're harassing the people that do the spraying for us. And for whatever reason, that really resonated with farmers, and I got lots of fun engagement off of that video. But that was my first, like, my hit of like having a little bit of success.
Sure, sure. So if there's anyone in the audience out here who might feel similar to how you felt about feeling embarrassed about posting and trying to be a creator or posting advocacy content, what would you say to folks in the audience who might feel the same way?
Yeah, I would say, like, I'm embarrassed anytime anyone comes up to me and they're like, I watch your videos, because then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe you saw that. That is, I don't know. I post some wild things. And so you never really get over that feeling, but every time I hit upload, and I just hope that I'm putting some positivity out there, and I try to look at that bigger picture of like the reasons I post is I want to connect with other people in agriculture, and I want to share what farming is like for people that are disconnected from the farm. Also, I have to say, like, I am making money doing this. That is definitely a motivator for me posting, and that definitely pushes me to post more often. But every day it's, man, I don't know about this one, and you just have to hit that upload button.
Upload and hope for the best, right?
Yep.
So you mentioned the monetary side of things and how you got your first brand deal. Can you kind of talk the audience through kind of what that process looks like for you kind of on the back end?
Yeah, so there's a handful of different ways you can monetize social media. So one is having the apps pay you directly. So if I have a video that's over 1 minute long on TikTok, that will be monetized. As well as Facebook. Facebook will monetize anything that doesn't have a video playing in the background, music playing in the background. And then I do monetize YouTube as well. For whatever reason, I can't monetize Instagram, but that's just the apps paying me. And then I do brand deals, so I had the opportunity to work with John Deere, Bex Hybrids, Fastline, a couple different people last year to promote their products on my page. So if you see a post where it says #ad, that means I'm getting paid to promote that content. And I really try to vet who I am working with. I try to only work with brands that I have used their products before and I really enjoy them, just because, you know, if you start posting a whole bunch of ads and it's just junk, you kind of lose that trust with your audience. And then the other way I've been able to monetize is doing stuff like this, coming in to speak to people and promote what I'm doing online. But I do really see a value in it for people that have direct-to-consumer products. So if you're selling freezer beef, if you're selling vegetables out of your garden, you don't have to have 1 million followers. You just need the people that are going to buy that product from you. So if you're on Facebook and you're just within your local community, you can promote your stuff online for free. You know, all these apps are available to anyone and everyone, and I think it's a really valuable tool for advertising.
Have you felt like your journey on social media has helped you bridge the gap a little bit or contribute to bridging the gap between agriculture and consumers, folks who lack general awareness about farm
Yes,
and ranch life?
I think so. I wouldn't say all of my content is like strictly educational because sometimes it's boring. You know, you don't get on social media to learn necessarily. You want to be entertained and have fun. And so, you know, I will post some videos for fun and then hope those people will stick around to learn a little bit here and there. I've gotten some great feedback from folks that just, you know, I see you're running these huge machines. I don't know necessarily what you're doing in the fields. And the feedback I've gotten from my mom is that she's learned more on my page in the last couple of years than she has learned being married to my dad for the last 30 years because apparently she doesn't like, listen to him very much, but she always watches my videos and so she knows what's happening on the farm.
So to kind of piggyback off of that, you know, you share a lot of your family, share a lot of that kind of content, family friendly, what's going on the farm from a day-to-day standpoint. What is your favorite post? We've talked about what posts maybe led you to getting additional traction and kind of created what you've built now, but what is your favorite post?
Yes, so my favorite posts in general are always the ones I do with my dad, Mickey. He is just the coolest. We did a video where I had him explain to me like what is an acre, and it was just so fun, and it was, you know, it took us like a minute to make, and it was just really fun, and we got lots of wild comments. I accidentally, we said something about how it's however much ground can be plowed by an ox in one day, and people are like, I've never plowed with an ox before. Has anyone ever plowed with an ox? So that one was just really fun to make.
Did it take any convincing to get your dad to do a TikTok with you?
No, my dad loves the fame. It's amazing. Whenever I come to any conference, the first question is, well, where's your dad at? People want to see my dad. He's awesome. But no, he's one of those folks that he's very supportive. He's watched how doing social media has really benefited me and the farm. And he loves his couple of minutes in the spotlight.
Well, he's a natural for sure. All right, so now we've talked about Zoe's process, how she makes TikToks, Instagram videos, and we really wanted to kind of open that up for the audience and give you guys kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how that is done. So now we're going to ask an audience member, Linda Pryor. She's a North Carolina Farm Bureau member. She is going to come up, and Zoe and Linda are going to do a TikTok. So how many of you guys are on TikTok? Awesome. Okay. How many of you guys have heard the trend, we listen and we don't judge? Awesome. All right.
Good.
Well, you guys are going to get to see a live TikTok made. All right, ladies,
Okay.
take it away.
Yes. Can you test your microphone? We'll see if it's working.
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay, awesome. So I will go first. And we'll see how many takes this takes because sometimes it's not that great. We have to get the hair right. Okay, we're good to go. Okay. We listen and we don't judge. So last year I had a post that I really didn't like where it was sitting at, and I decided that I was going to accidentally hit it with our bush hog. So then I called my dad and I was like, hey, that post, it just, you know, I bumped it, it's down now. And he said, great, I didn't really like where that post was at. And I said, good, because I hit it on purpose.
Sometimes
Oh wait, we need you to say, we listen and we
Okay.
don't judge.
we listen and we don't judge. Sometimes I am much nicer and talk much nicer to my animals than I do the humans.
Okay. We listen and we don't judge. Last year I had a salesman come to the farm selling a product I knew I didn't want, and he said, hey, is the guy in charge around? And I said, no, even though I was the guy in charge. Okay, and then can we get everyone together to do one? We listen and we don't judge. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. We listen and we don't judge. Awesome, thank you guys. So I will just edit this quickly and then it'll be uploaded to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the places.
All right. Let's give Linda a big round of applause for being such a great sport.
Thank you very much.
Linda. All right, thank you, Zoe. We have we have a little bit of time for a couple of questions. So if anybody has any questions for Zoe, please come to the mic in the middle right there, and she'd love to take some of your questions.
Sure, I have a question. So, do you have any warnings of something that you did and you're like, that was a mistake. I
Yes.
am not going to do that again.
Yes.
Great question.
So I had a video where I was pulling down the hood of a 9330, and I just thought it was a funny juxtaposition. I'm pretty short, but it was like basically my butt was, facing the camera, and I got a whole lot of people that were like very interested in the way that I looked. So now I'm very particular on the angles and stuff because that's not what I'm going for.
To piggyback off of that, in general, are there any things that you've seen, that you've done, or maybe you see other creators do, and it might be helpful advice for someone who might be starting out new?
Yeah, so one thing I was really intentional about at the beginning was setting boundaries. So I make sure, I coach at a local high school, I make sure I'm never wearing a shirt that has that logo on it. I don't film where my house is at, and I just for safety. And then I also have some boundaries. So my husband is like very rarely shown on my channel just because he's not interested in being highlighted and doing the whole social media thing. And my other siblings, I always ask for permission because I would hate to post something that they don't want out there. So setting those boundaries. The other boundary I've set is I do not cuss in my videos. It's the only thing that's very inauthentic about my platform is the F word is my favorite word, but I keep it clean because my mom watches me and she really does not like the cursing.
Any other questions for Zoe?
I've seen several times that time frame is an idea, like don't post in the morning, don't post at night. Is there a certain time that's better? Do you see?
Yes,
anything?
so you can really dive into like the best time to post, the best day to post. For some reason, like people are more active on social media on Tuesdays. I have taken that into account sometimes, but generally, it's like farming is the first priority for me, and sometimes it'll be 9 p.m. at night, and I'm like, oh, I haven't posted anything today, and I'll throw something up. Or if I know I'm going to be busy later in the day, I'll maybe post in the morning. But I definitely could be a little bit more strategic on the time when I post and also analyzing the videos. So I probably could have gotten a larger audience if I really analyzed the videos that people liked, but I really want to stay true to the videos that I enjoy posting. But you can definitely analyze, see when people stop watching the video, you can see that moment people fall off, and so then you can kind of learn, okay, I need to make shorter cuts in my videos. I need to be a little bit more energetic when I'm doing things. So there's definitely a lot that goes into that little, what do you call it when it's like the little things that really just push it a little farther.
I love you. So how do you manage the comments? How do you manage the haters or the supporters, or how do you not take that personally? What's your best advice for that?
Yeah, so I've definitely gotten a lot thicker skin over the years. The comments where people clearly haven't ever seen anything I'm doing, they'll immediately go to, oh, your daddy let you drive this tractor, do something, I know those people don't watch my videos, they don't know who I am. I kind of just disregard them. The comments that hurt are the things that I feel self-conscious about. So like if I mess something up on the farm, I usually take a couple days to post those things. So like I overflowed a grain bin that I was trying so hard not to overflow, and then I actually ended up overflowing a second one and plugging a grain leg all in a matter of 5 minutes. It was a horrible day. But I waited 2 days to post that until after I was over it. I could laugh about the whole situation. And there will always just be people out there that just don't like what we're doing. If I can tell in a comment someone isn't there to listen, they're just there to bully, I love hitting that block button, just not letting them interact.
Other questions for Zoe? All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, Zoe. And if you guys go to
At Farm with Zoe.
At Farm with Zoe.
Z-O-E, no Y.
On TikTok and Instagram.
Yep.
You'll be able to see yourselves in her TikTok. Thank you all so much for the time today.
Thank you guys.